Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're just looking again at this concept of al hatzadikim and al hachasidim. It's on page 106, the bottom paragraph. And so what's been going on is it's very interesting. We're talking about our like the personal needs and the global needs of the Jewish people. Okay, this is what you're looking at in Shmona Esrei. And as you're going to be going more forward down the Shmona Esrei, you're going to get more into the greatest need of all. What's the greatest need of all? We want Mashiach now, okay, which we can all definitely relate to. So that's what we're trying to move into, a world that's like that. That's what we're really trying to do here, right? So you want to get the judges back. You want to have good advice. You want to get rid of all the Rishoim. And when you get rid of wickedness, as you said, that righteousness can bloom. So we were talking about the different kinds of righteous people. And we said that each one of these righteous people are within us. Okay, that's the whole part about the Jewish people that's so crazy. It's the collective. And this whole collective makes up every individual. So there's a Russia in us and a tzaddik in us and a Torah scholar in us and a this in us and a that in us. All of this sits within inside of us. So we were asking, from Hashem that he should have rachamim on all these types. So the tzaddik, the person who does nothing wrong, the chassid who goes beyond the letter of the law, the elder is the person who has a lot of chachma, community leader. For those people who are the pleitas sofrehem, or the people who are teachers, where we said there weren't people who want to be teachers anymore. The ger tzedek is the convert, right? The person who's willing to give up everything for you, Hashem. Ve'olenu, all of this is in us. And now let's just say the bracha, because it's so beautiful. We say Baruch atah Hashem Mishon Miftoach Letzadikim. So what does that say in the English? It says, blessed are you, Hashem, the mainstay and assurance of the righteous. Okay, so now we're going to really understand what these words mean, okay, and how you work in a way that you can get Hashem to be these realities in your life. So the mainstay is more like support, okay? Hashem, you are the one who really supports us, and a maftiach is the one who is trustworthy, okay? So we can trust that whatever you've said, whatever you've promised, you will do. Okay, so you're not worried. If Hashem makes a promise, you know that it will happen. So we've been waiting a heck of a long time for Mashiach, but Hashem made a promise. And when Hashem makes a promise, it's not when a human being makes a promise. So there is this assurance. This is what we're saying, that a tzaddik feels assured with Hashem. So, you believe that Hashem is going to has the capability to take care of you, will take care of you. It's all good in the end. And if it isn't good, it's not the end. Okay, that's the way we look at it. And end by us, end game is even afterlife, right? That's what we understand what the end game could be. Okay, so let's see. So when did we say this bracha, and who said it? So this bracha was said by the angels. Okay, when did they say it? It was said when Yosef HaTzadik closes the eyes of his father, Yaakov. So what does that mean? When Yaakov passes away, we said, like the Torah says, when someone passes away, if their eyes are open, Chevra Kadisha tries to close their eyes and, make sure that they're closed. Why? Because it's like the end of what you're going to see. Now the only thing you will see is Hashem. You don't need to see this physical world anymore. So we close your eyes. So Yaakov always had this concern. What was his concern about Yosef? One, was he alive? Which Baruch Hashem, he found him alive. But two, was he still religious? Right? Because if most people went through Yosef's trauma and was left alone in the most depraved society, immoral, disgusting place, and was made to be the prince of Egypt, not too many people could pass this test. Like, we have to be very real, right? How many people could pass that test? Like, just think about it. At 17, he was this handsome, really outstandingly beautiful person. Okay, he's physically incredibly beautiful. So much so that the place where he's working, right, the mistress of the place, Potiphar, keeps trying to seduce him. And yet, he doesn't give in. So he's really an exceptional human being. But Yaakov is like, who knows? So at the end, the Malachim say, don't you worry. Hashem told you that all your sons will be good and you will be the founder of the Jewish nation. And see that Hashem supports and is trustworthy to the tzaddikim. And that's why the angels give that bracha at that time. Okay? Okay. So it's interesting. I can't remember the name of the person, so you will have to apologize. Maybe some of you know. She's a columnist, writer. She has a column in the Mishpacha magazine. Does anybody know who this is? She's a social worker, extremely popular social worker. So I'm taking this course in psychology and trauma, and the professor was talking, and he was saying that he actually interviewed this woman. So why did he interview her? Because she's a social worker who walks her walk. Her 16-year-old son developed a brain tumor, I think when he was younger. I think when he was like 10. He lived 6 years more, and then he passed away. So she was talking about the son and what kind of incredible kid he was. Like, so he really had like, you know, whatever he did, he was always trying to learn more and give more charity and be kinder and do the right thing and this and that. Why? Like, that's an incredible trauma. You're about to lose, you know, there wasn't like, I think everybody there was very realistic. It would take a super duper miracle for him to live. And I think they all understood it. Okay. So he spent all his time, right, trying to do the right thing. Why? How could he like?
Why? Because you don't want to waste the time you have.
Okay, so smart, Esther. Because he saw the bigger picture. It will all be good in the end.
Yeah.
And he appreciated, you know what I mean? Like Hashem gave him a heads up on when his end is coming. Right? So he didn't use it to drown in sorrow, and they didn't use it to drown in sorrow. They really encouraged all of his activities, you know, everyone saying their Tehillim and him leading Tehillim and him doing this and him doing that, and they totally encouraged it, right? So that's the kind of trust. You have trust in Hashem, you have trust in this kind of hashkafa, then this hashkafa will support you. You see what I'm saying?
Appreciation.
Yeah. So this is
what appreciate life.
Yeah. And you appreciate that there's a bigger picture, and you appreciate that Hashem knows what he's doing. And you know, obviously we're not in the situation, so we're never judging anyone. But I'm just trying to show you that this is what the tefillah is trying to say. You're saying to Hashem, bless the tzaddikim, the chassidim, bless me with all of this reality, with all of this understanding. Okay, to help the community, to be righteous, to go beyond the letter of the law, to be willing to change my life, to be close to you, right? To take the job of teaching, you know, and role modeling to people, whichever way I can. And when I do that, please Hashem, I believe, because I'm doing that and I'm trusting in you, I believe that you are trustworthy. You're worthy of my trust, and you will do the right thing for me. Right? And you will be a support for me. It's a great way, because just imagine, you know, like just in life, you know, if your little kids came up to you and they said, you know, Mommy, I really trust you can help. I really trust you're going to be there for me. What is that mommy going to do?
Be there.
Exactly. And but if they, you know, when people say, well, you know, I really don't believe you're going to come through for me. So what's your temptation? Guess what? You just labeled me? Just watch. I won't come through for you. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So here you're really trying to say, it's like
you create your reality.
Create this reality. You almost like, it's almost a good negotiation team. Okay? Know how to negotiate. That's what I'm trying to say. You want to get something, negotiate smart. Don't negotiate with resentment and this and that. Okay? Mitoch lo lishma bo lishma. You know what I mean? You may not have the most altruistic view, but right now be smart. You know, if you just say to Hashem, listen, maybe I wish I could trust you so much, but believe me, I want to. Even just saying I want to, then Hashem says, then I want to be your support. Do you see what's going on here? It's very much a mida keneged mida. So they were smart. Lemaisa, he didn't make it. There was no miracle that happened that saved this kid. But what did they have? They said he lived a very fulfilled life. They were very proud of him. And what he accomplished in his 16 years was miraculous and incredible and wonderful. And he, she used to say this, Rebbetzin Jungreis, who remembers this saying? Somebody help me out here. She used to say, a good life is not necessarily a long life, and a long life is not necessarily a good life. Okay, that's what she used to say. So, do you see what I mean? Just like a long life is not necessarily a good life. There's people who, grumpy old people,
suffer,
grumpy young people that were grumpy middle-aged people, and that was the end of the story. Okay, so it was a long life. It doesn't mean it was a good life, right? And then there are people who they have a short visit, but Lemaisa, what they accomplish is incredible, and it's a good life. Okay, so we are davening to Hashem. We should have a long and good life. Okay, we're not looking for any shortcuts out of here, but I'm just trying to tell you this perspective, and this perspective, it's such a nice idea. Like Hashem, like when we look at it, like to really say, Baruch Hashem, you, blessed are you, God, all right? You are the one who supports us, right? And you are the one who is trustworthy. To the tzaddikim, and what do we say? The real definition, the most common definition of a tzaddik is tzaddiklish. Okay. What's the most common definition? Come on, I know.
Someone who falls 7 times and gets up.
Beautiful. I love you. I knew she could come through. Okay, so it's someone who falls 7 times and keeps getting up. Okay, so what is that? A work in progress. It's a person who realizes, yeah, I do mess up. I don't always say the right thing. I'm sorry. Or, I didn't handle this so amazingly. But you know what? Hashem, I'm sorry. You forgive me. I'm getting right back on the horse. I'm getting right back on the bike. I'm getting right back on Shabbos. I'm getting right back on my Shmiras Haloshen. I'm getting right back on my Kavana and davening. Yeah, that's a tzaddik. Okay, so that really is like all of us. Okay, beautiful. So this confidence, that's what I'm saying. There's a certain confidence that we have to have in hashkafa. What's hashkafa mean?
Our derech, our walk.
Jewish philosophy. Yes. Your Weltanschank.
Project.
Yes.
Project.
What hashkafa is your Weltanschank, the way you look at something, the way we're working, right? We have to have a confidence in hashkafa. And then we have to have a confidence in hashgacha. Okay, what's the difference between hashkafa and hashgacha? Okay, besides the vada.
The hashgacha help you to have a good hashkafa.
Yes. Okay, hashgacha is this idea of what Hashem, like Hashem is interfacing with you. So if you keep your eyes open, right, and then you say, you know what, yeah, it's true. It did work out. I did believe. I do feel better. Look, I see Hashem gave me a little hug. He gave me a little kiss. You know what I mean? He intervened. He helped. He this, he that. That's what's going to give you this confidence and this belief in Hashem's trustworthiness, that you should trust him. Okay? We're not living in easy times. It's very funny. I'm doing this course. So, you break out in these breakout rooms on Zoom. So it's one-on-one. And so this time usually I get put with the other old ladies. And somehow I must have been wearing a different shade. No, I'm joking. Somehow I got put with a much younger person. Okay? Not even married. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there going, okay. Right. So I was laughing because she said, I'm feeling so anxious about the future. Now, if somebody today who is young, right, who tells you I am feeling anxious about the future, what would you say?
Don't be.
Don't be? What would you really say? Rightfully so. Would you say, oh, you're a Michigana right now to be anxious about the future? You are not in Michigana right now. The world is a little crazy. Anti-Semitism is nuts. Israel is in very precarious position. There's a shidduch crisis and a financial crisis and a this crisis. How many crises? Everything is a crisis today. So yes, I can understand why you can have anxiety today. So what's this saying to you? Yeah, you can have anxiety, but really we're still all here. Things are moving forward. Things are getting a little better.
We've been in tough times before.
We've been in tough times before, and what?
We've come through.
we've come through. And that's Baruch Atah Hashem. Blessed
הרי
are
אתם עומדים כולכם פה.
Yes, exactly. So this is like, these are the thoughts and these are the kavanas that you want to have to tune in.
Yes.
So in Tehillim, it tells us that Hashem says, I will support you through Galus. Okay, and that's exactly where we are. Okay, like, and where we've been for a couple thousand years. All right, and Hashem is still supporting us through this Galus. Like, you know, it's a very harsh reality, and Hashem is still there. All right, perfect. Now there's like, we're going to say different versions, different understandings of all of this. So when it says you are a miftach, you say, you know, I trust in you, Hashem, you're trustworthy. What are we talking about specifically here? Some of the Meforshim say you are specifically talking about the coming of Mashiach and Olam Haba. Okay? So that is something we have to really tune in wholeheartedly. You have to be really grateful that Shemona Esrei, I'm not joking, that Shemona Esrei gives you a lot of opportunity for you to be acknowledging the fact that you are yearning for Mashiach. Because one of the questions on your test, right? They say that Hashem says you will have to answer questions, right? When you come up to Olam Haba, you come to the Olam HaEmes, Hashem is going to ask
you yearn for Mashiach.
Right. These questions. There's like 5 that are the real core questions, right? Who wants to try to see if we can remember them? Okay, 5 core questions. Okay, so let's see if we can remember. One is,
Were you good in business?
yes, were you fair and honest in business?
Fair and honest.
Good.
Did you
Anything
yearn
else?
for Mashiach?
Did you yearn for Mashiach, which is like one of the places is right here. What else?
Did you believe in Hashem?
I don't know if it's did you believe in Hashem? One is,
Did you keep like?
Yeah, did you treat your friends royally? Okay. Were you good in business? Did you treat your friends royally? Did you learn Torah? Okay.
Did you not cheat or?
Yeah, that one we said already. Okay. Oh gosh.
Did you study Dvar Torah? If
Yeah,
you
so they
study,
say-
did you make Zman?
Yeah,
Torah?
right, that we said. Did you learn Torah and did you bring any
We
chidushim?
said it. We said it.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
said
God,
that.
I didn't
Did you
hear
learn
it.
Torah and bring chidushim? Did you yearn for the Mashiach?
What's your name? He asked you what's your
honest
name.
in business. That's not going to be a pass or fail. Okay.
No.
Were you honest in business? Did you treat your friends royally? That's 4 of them. Okay, guys, quick, get on Google. Right.
Okay, I will.
On Google. Okay, what the 5th one is?
I will.
Totally slipped my mind. All right. Okay. So until we find that out, let's continue. So when you're looking at this thing and you're saying that Hashem, you are trustworthy. So what's your kavanah? Trustworthy that Hashem will bring Mashiach. All right. So that's what you're thinking about at that place. Okay. Now that you believe, what does that mean? Hashem will bring Mashiach. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Okay. Nasata v'natata be'emunah.
Oh, so that's the business. Okay, what's
ניהלת את העסקים שלך ביושר. Did you set time for the Torah?
Yeah, we said
Every day. Okay. And then 3. Did you
Did you engage in procreation?
children?
How could I forget the one? Oh, I can't believe I forgot that one. Okay, so did you engage in having children? Okay, so let's explain that one because not everyone has children and that's very unfair. Do you know what I mean?
Did you try?
So,
At least
yes.
try.
So one, you do try, but more than that, having children is your good deeds. Like, did you do mice?
You raise them in a good way, your children.
Yeah, and also, did you do good deeds? Okay, so everybody knows them now? Okay.
There's more. There's more.
Okay, stop now. Okay, and we'll go on later. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
But I'm so proud of us because those are the 5 core. Okay, so these are the 5 core ones. All right. So now let's just see. So we said we're asking for Mashiach. So what does that mean to you? What does that mean? Like Hashem, we need to see Mashiach. We want Mashiach. What do we want when we're saying we want Mashiach? You really have to know this.
Want clarity.
What? Clarity. Beautiful.
That you believe that there is a
Yes.
Mashiach.
So you want some kind of clarity. So what is the clarity that Mashiach will bring? And to who will he bring it?
One God.
To who?
To
Excellent.
the world.
To the
To the
entire
world.
world. Okay, so you're saying, look, Hashem, you put us on this planet. We were put on on the planet for a reason. So the reason is for us to connect to Hashem, for us to emulate Hashem, for us to be a light unto the nations, to bring his understanding to the world. And why do we want the world to have this understanding? Because it would make the world the best it could be, right? Like there would be no more war and no more, you know what I mean? There would be such a depth and a love. So that's why we're asking for it. So we're asking for it because you know what, Hashem? We want to see your ratzon, your will, your plan completed. And we want to be part of that team that had that opportunity to bring it to the finish line. So that's what you're really asking. So when you're asking for Mashiach, it's not for a selfish reality. Like you need to put that to a different place. Like, because sometimes people go, yeah, we want Mashiach because then I don't have to worry about money, and then whatever, everybody will feel better. Like, we look at it, and though it's almost like an immature way of looking at it. It's true; those are nice benefits, but the big benefit is the destiny, the history, and everyone knowing who Hashem is. You know what I mean? And having clarity. That's the real, big point of it. Okay, perfect. Okay. So it's very interesting that, so this is important for us to understand that we are very important players. Do you know what I mean? And that when we're asking for Mashiach, this is turning the wheel to bring him even closer. Do you know what I mean? So you need to appreciate that if no one's going to ask, he ain't going to come. Okay. And that's just the way it goes. Okay. So we need to appreciate that idea. Okay. Now let me see. Okay, so now when it says that Hashem is your mishon, Hashem is your supporter, Hashem has to support us fighting the Yetzer Hara. True or false?
Yes.
Okay, so even though the Torah will tell you that the antidote to the Yetzer Hara is knowing more Torah. The way you can fight the Yetzer Hara is by knowing more Torah, right? Every time the Yetzer Hara tells you, you're nothing, you have to go, what are you talking about? Hashem says the world was created for me, Like every time, right, the Yetzer Hara says, oh, this is so important, you have to go, no, the Torah really says, other things, okay? Other pieces of advice. So it's just very interesting that the secular world lives to work, until they're 65, and then they retire, right? Then they retire, then they play golf, and then they do arts and crafts or whatever they do, right? It's time to retire. So it's interesting because if you look at it psychologically and even physically, what happens to most people once they retire?
They stop living and then they eventually stop living.
They deteriorate.
They deteriorate. It's very interesting. Right? What is the Torah's view on retiring? You shouldn't. The Torah's view on retiring is you shouldn't retire out of life. It doesn't mean you need to be an accountant till you're 120. And that's not what I'm saying. It means you shouldn't retire out of growth and learning and doing good things. Like you should realize, like once you have more time, right? And you're not so physically involved, like, you don't have to drive 10,000 carpools or whatever. Well, I don't know about that, but you don't have to do so many things. Then what? Now you can put all your energies into your spiritual growth. So there's no such thing as, okay, so now I have tons of leisure time. You can draw, you can paint, you can do those things, but not all day. Do you know what I mean? Golf is not your 100% focus, and touring the world isn't either, unless you're touring the world to do tzedakah and charity and have a meaningful life. Do you see what I'm trying to say? There's just an important idea that when we talk about like the hashkafa and the like all these ideas will help you be able to fight this Yetzer Hara. Okay, so when you like say, oh, I'm so bored, then what would the Yetzer Tov and Hashem tell you? Do chesed, open up Tehillim, do something. You never have to be bored. There's always something you can do. Do you know what I'm saying? That's very positive. So it's an important thing for us to understand. This is the way Hashem is supporting us through our lives, all right? Through what the Torah tells us. This is what supports us, okay? Okay, now, Okay. So we said when we fight the Yetzer Hara, we need him. So it's very interesting how you can see, like in reality, even in the big secular world out there, how you see that you need Hashem's help to fight your Yetzer Hara. Like if you look at this 12 steps program, like the only thing that it's funny, like that the therapists have found that really help people with addictions being able to fight their addiction is that they need to be able to say, I'm powerless over my addiction. And the only way I can fight this addiction is with the help of a higher force. It's such an interesting idea. Like, in other words, like people have to realize the body Yetzer Hara pull, like for passion and lust and all the foolishness that's out there is huge, right? And I always tell you, this is home field advantage. The only way that you could really go beyond all this, and even with Hashem, even with Torah, it's a struggle. Let's not pretend that we aren't human, okay? It's a struggle. Do you see what I'm saying? So we have to so much appreciate that Hashem is like right here, you're saying, thank you, Hashem, for being my support and for being trustworthy. And what's Hashem saying? I can only be your support and I can only be trustworthy if you believe in me. I can't support you if you don't ask, and I can't support you if you don't believe. And that makes sense. Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we need to really like keep that in mind. Okay, so let me just see what else it was over here. Yeah, it's so funny. This idea of supporting you, like the idea of the tzaddik, and he falls. Okay, so often, like I see, like in what I do, like training people to move, it's very hard for a lot of people when they fall to get back up. Okay, it's so interesting. Like if you take skating lessons, like with the kids, what is the first thing they teach the kids? It's so funny. How to fall. Okay, they teach them how to fall without like killing themselves. Okay, how you fall, and then how to get up. And for many of us, the ability to get up, we often need support. And that's the MS. Okay. Often when you fall, you need support. You need the help of your friends. You need the help of other people. You need a chair. You need a cane. You need support. So what are we saying here? That Hashem is that support. That's an important.
In Hebrew, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, like when you really think about it, like sometimes when you're falling, what a nice way.
Lean on.
Yeah, turn, like there's a song, You Can Lean on Me, right?
Lean on me.
Lean on me. Okay, so
everybody needs somebody to
lean on. So this is exactly what this pasuk is saying. And it's a good idea for us. It's a good idea for us to tune into it. Like, Hashem, I am feeling overwhelmed. I need to lean on you. I need your help, and not to like let yourself feel alone and you know what I mean, and drowning and floundering. You know what I mean? Like you have someone to lean on. Such a beautiful idea. Okay, good. So let me see what else there was. Okay. So it's actually like I was thinking to myself, like I wrote the notes to myself and I said, like, it's nice to visualize it. Hashem, I need a shoulder to lean on, and then you just like, visualize that there is that shoulder for you to lean on. Okay. So it's very interesting. It says here that if you lean on Hashem, you say like, Hashem, I really need you. I really need to lean on you. Then Hashem will become trustworthy to you. So it's similar to what I was saying the whole time. Like whenever you're looking at this reality of wanting Hashem to help you and to be trustworthy, etc., you have to make the first move. Okay? You have to make that first ask. And then these things will fall into place for you. All right? Right. Like this is the same thing, this idea with Mashiach, the same idea. We need Hashem's support. We need like Hashem help. Okay, we need the Mashiach. We're leaning in on you. We need you to help us. And then Hashem says, okay, for you leaning in, I'm going to bring him. So Mirza Hashem very soon. Okay. Okay. So then if you demonstrate you trust in him, then he becomes this support. All right. And interesting that trusting it's very interesting. This concept of trusting is to surrender. What do you think that means? What does it mean trusting in Hashem is to surrender? A lot of rabbis will use that term.
Ein od milvado.
Yeah, ein od milvado. So I surrender.
That's a surrender.
Yeah. What are you surrendering when you say Ein Od Milvado?
That everything is from Hashem, for good and bad, and whatever
Surrendering,
happened
that's
to
the
you.
big word that everybody wants to have.
Control.
Control. It's so hard. So you're doing a shidduch, and this one is not working, and that one is not working, and they're dating for months, and they say no, and la 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 la. You're doing all this hishtadlus, right? And sometimes this hishtadlus seems so silly. Like you're calling up this, like the resume has the names and numbers of people who you should call. So what do you think those names and numbers are going to say about the people you're calling about? Okay, like this is so dumb. Right? So you call them up, and what do they all say?
Amazing.
She's wonderful. She's incredible. She's the nicest. She's the sweetest. She's the best. She's the this. She's the that. And you're like, okay, right? How do I know? I don't know. I don't know these people for 2 cents. I never met them in my whole life. Have I any idea what their definition is? I'll tell you this story. This I found so interesting with shidduchim. It's a true story. This person calls me up, and they want information about this boy. Okay, so they said to me, "What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about this boy?" And I said, "Responsible." And they said, "Oh, forget it. We're not going to do the shidduch." I said, why? What happened? So he said, because I wanted the answer kind. We don't care about anything else unless he's kind. So I said, you're making a big mistake. Because when you ask me, what's the first thing I think about what I care about. It's not because he isn't kind, but in my perception, responsible is very important. That's like a great meetup. Like to me, that means a lot because today there's a
To be responsible is
very
kindness.
responsible.
It's
Do you know what I
very
mean?
kind.
But it's just like funny to me. It was just funny to me. Like, and I was laughing, like how we're trying. You know, say that again. What?
Did they hear you?
No, I don't know if they did. I just said, I'm just going to say my piece because I don't want to feel, not because I don't want to feel, because I really feel I was correct. And I just wanted him to know you're going to nix a lot of shidduchim because so many people like, you know, that's my perception. My perception is to me, I wanted to tell you what I was thinking. I want to tell you is how responsible he is. You know, there might be somebody else who would say kind about the same exact person.
The same, but responsible can be kind too.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't matter. Their trigger word is kind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to show you, like, we are busy doing all kinds of ishtadlus that really we are not in control of at all. So today I was trying to make a shidduch with somebody, and it didn't work. It was just like a silly thing, and it didn't work. And I was so proud of the person who, like, this person said no to. Someone said no to someone. So let's say the person says no to David. And David turned around and he said, you know what? We didn't waste our time. It wasn't a problem because we have the mitzvah of hishtadlus. What's
That's
going
right.
to be?
That's
And
so
who
beautiful.
I'm going to get? It's all Hashem. We had the mitzvah of hishtadlus, so we did what we had to do. And if nothing comes from it, big deal.
This is surrendering to Hashem.
That's what I want to say. That is real surrender. Like you're even willing to do the work, but you know it's really
נכון.
yeah.
במאת השם הייתה הזאת.
You see what I mean? It's just
נכון.
interesting.
Can I
Okay.
ask, Gail?
What?
So may I ask?
Yeah.
So
sure.
it means that these people have to go through that to learn something. Is that right? I just want to understand from what you're saying.
You have to do like this. I don't even know if you have to always learn something. Sometimes the thing you have to learn is that you will just make your effort, but your effort will not necessarily result in what you think it's going to result in. Someone has their phone on or something, but I don't know who it is.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah. So if you could mute, I'd be so happy. Okay, thank you so much. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know if it was like you had to go through something. Maybe it's just testing your amuna. Do you know what I mean? Like really making you have to say, you know what? I'm doing what I can do. Doesn't mean, you know, like people go for interviews for job. You rolled the dice. In the end, it's not because you're lumpy or dumb or this or that, unless you really went out of your way to be that way. But you did reasonable hishtadlus and you didn't get the job. Ein od milvado. You know, it was my mitzvah. You still got a mitzvah. You have no less of a mitzvah if you succeed or you don't succeed. That's what the funny part is. For most of us, you think, okay, I only get the mitzvah when I win the prize. No, you win just for the effort. That's what Hashem is trying to tell you. You will win for the effort, just for the fact that you tried. That's all. So that's what's going. I was so proud of that person. Like, it's okay. Like I was like quite, like felt a little down, you know what I mean? And he's like going like, don't feel down. You tried, you tried to roll the dice. You tried to make the shidduch. Fine. And I tried. I gave in your resume. I did what I had to do. And guess what? It's okay. We still get the mitzvah because that's all. Why is that the greatness? Why does Hashem clap for you for doing that? Because that is all you are in control of. So he's saying that's the concept of, they're responsible. That's a responsible. Your responsibility is to try. The rest is Hashem. I need your support even when I'm trying. And in the end, whatever the result is, I trust in you. You are deserving of my trust. That's what you're saying right here in this part in Shemona Esrei. So it's really very deep. So I'm going to tell you a most beautiful story. Okay, so I heard it from Stories to Inspire. Stories about this rabbi. His name is Rabbi Stern. True story. Lived in Eretz Yisrael. So he lives in Israel. He was married for 15 years and they didn't have any children. And that's not an easy test. All right. So they went everywhere and anywhere, like everywhere in Israel that they could go to, every single doctor, all the homeopaths, all the conventional medicine, all the functional medicine. They did it all and nothing was working. It was already 15 years. So he's talking to
very long.
And the rabbi said to him, you know what? There's one more doctor. You got one more doctor left in Israel. His name is Dr. Meir. And Dr. Meir is an amazing specialist. And I've sent so many people there and he's really been able to help. He is the top gun in Israel, okay, for this. So this Rabbi Stern goes, they collect all your paperwork and all your tests and everything over 15 years, okay, of information. He comes to this Dr. Meir. Dr. Meir says, okay, let me review everything. I'm going to review it with my colleagues. So I'm going to get more than just my opinion. And let's see what we can do, okay? Fine. So he calls him back a couple of days later, calls him into the office, and he looks him in the eye and he says, I'm really, really sorry. Like, I wish I could say that, there was something that we can do, but medically, there's absolutely nothing. And this man, like you imagine this rabbi, like 15 years of this, okay, 15 years. So he looks at him and he says, you were my last chance. Like, I've been through all of Israel. I've been trying everything possible for the last 15 years. And you are now my last chance. And I guess my last chance is my last chance. And it's over. So I'm thinking, I just want to ask one thing from you. So the doctor says, what? He says, I'm going to make a siyum. Does everybody know what a siyum is? Okay, so a siyum is...
Siyum, yes.
Yes, okay, so you make like a party, you learn a certain amount of Gemara or Mishnah.
Daf yomi, finish.
Right? And then you make a party, right? And you usually read the last piece of what you're learning, okay? So I'm going to make a siyum, and I really, really would appreciate if you come. So this doctor was not a religious guy, but he felt for him. He felt for the rabbi, and he said, yes, I'd be happy. If you want me to come to your siyum, please, give me the address. Fine, gives him the address. The day of the siyum, he lives in Beit Vagan. Comes into the house. It's beautiful. There's lots of people there. The table's set beautifully and lots of delicious food. And everybody's kind of like, walking around, and you hear people asking each other, I wonder what the siyum's on. Like, they had no idea. Like, was it on Gemara? What is it? Like, what did this rabbi complete, that we're doing the siyum? So the Rabbi Stern gets up and he says, I want everyone to know that I have been working on something for 15 years.
Wow.
I've been working on trying to have a child. Me and my wife for 15 years. I put in my hishtadlus. And now is my siyum. No more hishtadlus. Trying.
Wow.
Everything that I could possibly do. So now I have a siyum. I'm telling Hashem, done. I'm finished. I did my hishtadlus. I did.
In the question, I did it.
I did everything. So now I only have one thing to say. Hata in himu. Father in Shemayim, only you can help me.
Wow.
With the siyum of my hishtadlus. This beautiful story. You can guess the end.
Wow.
A year later, he invited that doctor to the bris.
Wow.
The doctor came. He was wearing a kippah on his head. He stood up and he said, if I did not see this with my own eyes, I would never believe this story. And because you can see what Hashem did, you see this kippah? I'm wearing it. And you know, I'm putting tefillin on every day. And you know what? God willing, I'm going to keep the Shabbat also.
I love you. What a good night you're giving me.
Isn't that such a story?
Ay, ay, ay.
Shows you like such a nice idea for all of us. Sometimes we're going to have to turn to Hashem and say, look, Hashem, it's my siyum of hishtadlus. It's my siyum of hishtadlus. That's it. I don't have the koyach anymore. I can't do it anymore. It's the siyum of my hishtadlus. Now, Tat in Himmel, it's only you. Can you imagine? Like, I'm so like enamored in that story, like that. Even
where did you find the story?
Guts and bitachon, like guts of bitachon to stand up and make a siyum, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can imagine all these people. This isn't like a siyum is a very public announcement. To be able to stand up publicly and just say, okay, that's it. I'm not going to go into despair. I'm not going to run to, spend thousands more to California or to Huppitzville. It's the end. It's 15 years of sweat and tears and crying and this and that. Siyum. Finished. I give up. It's not my hishtadlus anymore. It's not my responsibility anymore. It's like, I really thought that was a wonderful story.
There are so many examples of people. I have cousins from my husband's side who couldn't have children for years and years and years, and as soon as they adopted 2 boys, they got pregnant. And that is exactly what. But this is in a very spiritual way. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
It's such a beautiful story. Okay, beautiful. So we finished this. Let me see. We have. Wait, when did I start? Nope, that's it. We only go 45 minutes. Okay, so next week we are going to start the next bracha, which is also very beautiful. This whole idea of Yerushalayim, and it's connected to tzaddikim. Like, it's so nice the way the Shemona Esrei flows. So we will talk about it next week. So now let's do the 1 Kuf Chaf Aleph. Okay, we're all going to say it together. And this is a Tehillim for Yeshuos and Refuos and for everything. This is it, Hashem. We are siyumed our hishtadlos. Okay, after thousands of years now.
Where did you see this story? It's
called Stories to Inspire. And they have thousands and thousands and thousands, 6,000 stories.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, it's really
fair. Gail, I love you.
No, but it's from Hashem because
the best dessert you gave me.
I didn't go through all 6,000, but okay.
That's a lot.
Okay, so we're gonna do Kuf Chaf Aleph, and Sandy, we'll do it with you, okay, Sandy?
Okay.
Okay, let's
Shir
go.
Lamalot.
Shir
Lamalot. יבוא עזרי, עזרי מעם אדוני עושה שמיים בארץ, אל ייתן למות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך, יומם השמש לא יככה וירח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד עולם.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful good night. And
Thank you, Gail. That was great.
Thank you for reminding
לילה טוב, לילה טוב.
Laila tov to everybody.